Hi, I'm Sharmen from the Marriage Recovery Center. Are you trying to co-parent with a spouse who is angry, belittling, demeaning, dismissive, disconnected, a bully? One of the biggest questions that I get a lot, especially from moms, is how do I protect my kids from his harm? How do I keep them from becoming like him? What if he gets custody? What if he gets full custody? How do I manage their environment in such a way that they are fully protected from this man? The reality is, you will not be able to control your spouse's behavior. If he is an angry, controlling, violent man, and he's used to powering over those around him to get what he wants, he's going to continue to do that no matter what you do. So a better context is to take the energy that you normally would pour into trying to control him and put it into trying to build a atmosphere around yourself that is one of peace and safety for the kids. So think about what you've got to work with. What is your environment like, and where can you put space in there for there to be reprieve from your spouse's bullying behavior? And this becomes a space in which you can teach the kids how to handle life, give them the tools to manage life in such a way that they maintain their own sense of self and their own sense of direction and purpose and mission. Because ultimately, as a mom, that's your mission, is to train them in the way that they should go. And so while you will not be able to control what your spouse says or does, or what he listens to, or what he lets the kids listen to, or whatever it is that has felt so destructive to you, you can't make him stop that. You can't necessarily make them not be around it, but you can teach them how to be discerning in the midst of this. So what you can do is be living your life in such a way that you are sending the message that behavior is not the only option, that there are alternatives that actually can build relationships, build connection, build something good and right and true into your relationships. So teach them what is good and right and true. What does it look like to be tapped into each other's hearts, to know what's going on, to feel known and to be known, and to walk through life in a way that you are connected. All of us have something in us that knows that what we're looking at in the world around us is not what we were created to live in. And there is a part of us that wants to rise up against that. So teach them how to do that, how to reach for what is good and right and true, even in the middle of a very broken world. Kids, unfortunately, will learn to use what works for them. So depending on how old they are and, kind of what space they're moving in, most typically teenagers to young adults will oftentimes identify with the destructive parent because it, first of all, keeps them safer. They're not in the bullseye when they're on his team, and often gets them material things that they wouldn't normally get because there is some sense of, the destructive parent also works to be the fun parent and often has the money, the means to get them things. And so you might see your kids identify with him simply because for the moment, the way they think about life in that time frame is to make it work for them. What's going to keep them safe? What's going to get them what they want? But even in the middle of all that, you can still be teaching them that there are better ways to move through life. God did create us for deep connection, not the kind of self-protectiveness that actually ends up becoming self-destructive to connection. Help them to learn that being authentic and real is actually a great strength, not something to be afraid of. They can still love their dad. They can. He's still their dad. That's written on their heart as well. And they are going to have some sort of relationship with him one way or another. But they may need to come up with their own boundaries. They may need to learn to create their own safe space around him, which is going to mean learning to be discerning about how powerfully they allow his voice to speak into their life, to learn to discern what is true, what is good, what is something that's really going to benefit them, rather than just going along with everything he says or does. Boundaries, just a quick note, boundaries are different than self-protection. Self-protection is really about putting up a shield between you and the other person so that there is not a deep relationship. Whereas boundaries are always about inviting to a deep relationship. So that's what makes them different. And so teach them how to have good boundaries that are inviting dad into a better relationship, but are not just letting him plow over them in a way that's destructive to them, as much as you can, in helping them to have some wherewithal to be discerning, to own the space that they're in, to take what they do have to work with and make something with it until they get the opportunity to be out on their own, living their own life. We would love to help you develop this kind of relationship with your kids. For more information or to schedule an appointment, check out our website at marriagerecoverycenter.com.